What's up, everybody? I wanted to do a quick little lesson. So, a little bit about me if you're new to my page. I've been certified in nutrition. I've been a certified personal trainer for over a decade. This is what I've done full time for majority of my life. It's my passion. It's my mission. It's to help people change their life, lose fat, and make a permanent and sustainable change. So that's my mission. So my posts that I post on my page. What's up, Jesse? The posts that I put on my page is intended to help you and direct you down a path that's going to set you up for long-term success. And that takes me to today's lesson. Let's go ahead and get into it. I want to talk about why diets don't work. Like I said, I've been a certified personal trainer, nutritionist for over a decade, and I've worked with a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of success and I've seen a lot of failure. Okay, I've been an online coach full-time for like the last 5 years, but fitness and health and nutrition is my expertise. And man, I talk to so many people every day. I do this full-time, so I'm in the inbox a lot. And if you're my client and you're watching this, you understand. But I see people message me, they're like, what is the best diet? What is a diet that will make me lose body fat the fastest? What's a diet? Like, everybody wants to do a diet. And if they're not asking me that and I'm talking to them, they're telling me about the success they had in the past with diets. So like, I did keto, or I did this other diet. I lost 40 pounds, or I lost 50 pounds, or I lost 60 pounds. And I always want to ask them, that's great, but if it worked, why are you still having difficulty? Okay? And people will say, what ends up happening is people will blame themselves. And this is what I want to discuss in today's lesson, is diets. There's been a lot of psychology, a lot of tests done on this, but basically diets create a vicious cycle that makes you lose weight in the short term and then makes you fall off track and then you regain all the weight back. Diets actually cause that. And I want to explain that in detail today. So I like this. I said, tell me if this sounds familiar. This vicious circle. Maybe you resonate to this. And I say this from personal experience because it used to be me. But you start a new diet, you want to lose body fat. Maybe you start something your friends recommended, or you saw something on Facebook or whatever. So you start a diet and you see results maybe pretty quick. You lose maybe some weight. Maybe it's not as much as your friend, but you still saw weight, which is success. A little bit of success. It makes you think, oh wow, this is actually possible. I can do this. But then what happens? You start to get cravings. And there's a psychology that goes behind this. I actually plan to make like a whole series on this. This is actually something I teach in more depth in my coaching courses, is like the food behavior and the psychology behind cravings. Because it's an interesting thing, as we've evolved through, evolution. Our bodies have been engineered and evolved to protect us from famine, from not being able to eat. So whenever you trick your brain into restricting calories or going through something extreme, like a lot of people will go from not working out at all or not dieting at all to working out 7 days a week and restricting their calories to like under 1,000 or just 1,000. And that's very extreme to the body, and your body will fight that because it thinks it's going through a very scarce time in history to where there's no food available. So you are literally tricking your body into thinking it's starving, and it's going to hold on and process everything much slower. But that's a conversation for another time. But when you create a diet, your body's going to start craving and desiring things in an extreme amount. So what I'm getting at is it's kind of like a Jack in the Box. If you stuff a Jack in the Box down, like stuffing your desire to eat foods that you actually enjoy and not just eating chicken breast and rice, you may get through it a few weeks. You may be able to only stick to fat and protein like on keto and stuff, and you may see results. But you're just pushing that Jack in the Box down. And eventually, something's going to happen at work. Something's going to happen unexpected with your family. Your kids are going to get in trouble. Something's going to happen. And you're going to snap and you're going to binge. And maybe some of you are resonating exactly with what I'm telling you. All right? But that's going to cause a binge, and the longer you suppress it, the scarier it will jump out. I know from personal experience. I ate a whole birthday cake before because of it. I've never done that since because I stopped doing restrictions, but at that time, it's crazy how your brain will trick you into thinking that you literally can never have it again, and that craving will go through the roof. It's literally trying to keep you alive. It's crazy. But I spend a lot of time with the psychology and the behavior behind food, because that's where your long-term success and balance and sustainability comes from, your behavior and relationship with food. Okay, so again, those are topics for another time, but today I just want to focus on this cycle. Most of you are going through this cycle right now. You get diet, short-term results, cravings start to increase, something happens in your life, you fall off, you can't sustain it, and then you start binging because you couldn't have those foods. They were forbidden foods. Now you're desiring them and eating them. And you think, well, I already messed up now. I should go all out. That's what usually people say, screw it. And then they will binge maybe for weeks, maybe days. They do it in secrecy. I used to hide it from my friends and family, especially because I was a personal trainer. And I'm talking about years ago when I didn't know this. I'm sharing my wisdom with you with what I wish I would have known when I first started out as a trainer. Most trainers don't know this stuff, by the way, okay? I know because I was one, and I managed a whole bunch of them. Most trainers are not even trained in food behavior. I had to go down my own path because I struggled with this myself, and I had to go get a binging coach is what I had to do. And that's what taught me this and made me see the value in it. And I noticed most people struggle with this and they don't even realize it. Because what happens, you binge, and then ultimately you quit. Or maybe you don't quit, but what is the solution to this circle? Well, if I messed up, then I need to take control by really restricting my food intake. I need to go and really restrict calories because I ate so much those last few days, there's no way I can eat more. Maybe you resonate with what I'm saying right now. Okay, but when you go from a binge to trying to take complete control, guess what you just did? You went right into the next phase of the circle. You went back to restricting calories, doing really strict restrictions to try to make up for what happened because you felt guilty, and then it starts the whole process again. Cravings come back in, you try to suppress, binges come back out, and you start having unbelievable cravings, and then eventually you just give in. That cycle right there is why a lot of you are struggling with fat loss. It's not because you can't stick to a plan. It's not because you can't stick to a program. It's because you have learned a system that's self-sabotaging and not sustainable. That's what people always make the mistake. They're like, oh, if I was just more tough and I could stick to it, then I would be successful. That's BS. Okay, nutrition is not difficult. It's not. It's very simple. You can lose body fat and maintain body fat. People say, Kyle, but you're a young guy, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm over 30 now. No offense to my friends and family that's in their 30s, but I'm starting to see their body fat go up and their muscle go down, okay? This is not because of my hormones. Genetically, my body wants to be skinny fat. Very thin arms and a belly. Okay, but the reason I'm able to fight that is because I've engineered my food behavior, my behavior behind food, my psychology behind food in such a way to where I can balance and I can eat in a caloric deficit in a sustainable way to where I can enjoy life and have balance, not be stressed all the time, feeling like I'm trapped in a diet. By over time, that behavior, the consequences of those behavior was low body fat, and my abs still show. So I'm just sharing how this mindset shift, because some of you may be saying, like, I understand where you're coming from, like, that makes sense, but this is like feels so counterintuitive, like this goes against like everything. And that's why I'm telling you, when I first got on this video, my passion and my mission is to fight diet culture. Okay, I want to give you long-term sustainable results, and that's what I teach in my coaching services. Okay, so I just want to throw this in. I've discussed a lot, but I wanted to follow this up with real evidence. This isn't just my opinion. This is studies, and psychologists, the experts have studied human behavior, and they did dieters versus non-dieters. This is Peter Herman and Janet Polivy. Hopefully I said that right. You can go look them up. But they did a experiment that I think is very fascinating. It just kind of backs up what I was just saying. But what they do is they took a group of dieters, hardcore dieters, people who stick to their plans, not wussies, okay? Remember, people want to blame themselves because they think they're not tough enough. Well, they did a study with dieters that were tough, Okay, they could stick to this. All right, they brought in non-dieters, people who just had no off limits. You know, they just were free to eat whatever they wanted whenever they wanted. They brought them both to a buffet of all you could eat, any food that you can think of they had. All right, so they told them, you know, spend your day, eat as you go. Dieters were very, very picky on what they ate the first go around. Dieters were very picky. The second group ate what they wanted whenever they wanted, no big deal. Okay, they did a second phase to the test. They brought in milkshakes, and they made the dieters and the non-dieters drink a milkshake first before turning them loose back into the buffet. So it was interesting because the data revealed that the dieters who had drank the milkshake, once it happened, they had a aha moment of, well, I already ruined my diet. If I already messed it up, then screw it. I might as well eat whatever I want because I can't ever do this again. So if I messed up now, I might as well go all out. And the dieters ended up eating way more than the non-dieters. And it was interesting because the dieters followed it up with, we have to get really strict with our diet now to make up for what we just did, which actually just starts the process all over again. And that's when the cravings start coming up. So if you're struggling with serious cravings, I just want you to know you can change that and those will go away, and you can still lose body fat, if not better, and sustain it by having balance. Okay, you can have balance. You don't have to restrict all that. You can still, I want to put it to you like this, your life will be better when you take a balanced approach. However, you cannot have one foot in diet culture and want to get 30 pounds in 30 days and have all these extreme all or nothing expectations and still want balance. What I'm getting at is you're going to have to leave the diet culture mentality behind, all those fad diets. I want you to get rid of that and ask yourself, how can I learn balance without restrictions? Because you're working against human psychology. If you're gonna say, no, Kyle, that's great, like that works for you, but I know this diet, you're working against your biology. You're working against human psychology that's evolved over millions of years to protect you from famine, and you're thinking you're gonna show it up with a diet? I'm sure you'll get away with that for some, but I know from personal experience, I was a pretty mentally tough dude. I would go to sleep on the ground because I was I'm not going to break my diet. I'll sleep on the floor. It is not sustainable long term. The people that have made it the longest have made it 5 years, I think. And there's not 95% of people regain all their weight back and more. So what I'm getting at is if you want long-term balance and sustainability, you're going to have to adopt that mindset. All right. That's the solution. Learning balance, food behavior, psychology, just like I've been talking about, sustainability. Having accountability, support in a community. So people that are actually supportive of what you're doing. Because a lot of this makes sense to some people, but people are in really unsupportive environments to where it's actually sabotaging their growth. Okay, so having a strong community that you can grow with makes a huge difference. Okay, and seeing other success stories. Because I've had all my clients go through my program and they're telling me, not only is this helping me reach my goal, but it's changing my life. And that's what I work for. I work for changing people's lives. This isn't some get fit quick thing. I want to smash that stuff away. I want to smash that mentality. That's my mission. And all my clients that go through my program, that's what I want them to do too. Smash that diet culture mentality, okay? I think I've been saying that enough, so I think you get the point. And also learning science-backed nutrition. So bundling all this knowledge together and then learning how to apply it on a day-to-day basis that builds momentum and motivates you and makes you feel holy crap, this is really changing my life. This is what you need to be focusing on, not on keto or all these other diets and stuff like that, okay? So my point is, if this makes sense to you, if you feel this was helpful and you want to learn how to have a balanced life and leave diet culture behind, then I want you to reach out to me. Let's hop on a call. Let's discuss your situation. Let's see what you've tried in the past that hasn't worked, and let's figure out what we need to do right now to get you started to where you want to go and ultimately achieve. So that's today's lesson. I hope that was helpful. My mouth is very dry. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon.